Hello, this section of the tutorial video series will address the Home tab, which is the bulk of your email program of where you're going to be spending your time. Before I go there, I just wanted to mention that above the File and Home tab, there's what is called a Quick Access toolbar. So it's a very small toolbar that sits on top of these two tabs. And what that's for is buttons that you use really frequently, and you don't want to have to be jumping between tab to tab. You would include the ones that you would want on there by the little drop down arrow and select the ones that you use frequently, so then you're not having to bounce back and forth between panes. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that that existed, and now we'll go into the Home tab. So in the Home tab, you have these different groups. So this is called the New Group, Delete Group, Respond Group, Quick Steps, Move, Tags, and Find. Inside your actual email program, just to get familiar with the navigation of it, on the left hand side you have your favorites, which is very basic. It has your inbox, your sent items, and your deleted items. One thing to mention about the deleted items is it is very important to right click on your deleted items every so often and go down to where it says empty folder. And the reason being, some people think that when they delete the emails that they're gone and no longer taking up space on their account, but in fact until you delete the deleted, it actually goes against your account, and at some point you're not going to be able to send or receive messages because you'll be over your account limit. So it's really important to go in there every now and then and just weed through those pieces. Right now I have the inbox highlighted so you can see the different items that I have in my inbox. As things come across my desk in my email, I can actually use some of these different group functions up here to help me out. So for example, under the tags, if I wanted to, so with this particular one, if I wanted to say that that was a follow-up item, that was something I wanted to follow up with, I would click on the follow-up, and then I would choose a time in which I want to do so. So in this case, I'm just going to say today for this example. Then a little flag will appear, and that will also go in underneath my area on the right hand side here. So those are for follow-up things. Some people like to use those, so I just want to make sure that you knew that that existed. Also, there's a categorize function that you can do too. So again, it goes by whatever you have highlighted. So I have that first message highlighted. I might be able to or might want to color code my different pieces. So maybe blue categories are for things that are on a certain topic, for example, or from a certain person. I can then go and change them so that they have that color category. If I want to remove that color category, I just click on it, or I can go back here and then say clear all categories. Other functions that are useful as far as the basic view goes is that I can change how wide or how narrow the columns are. So that is a personal preference. I tend to keep mine quite narrow because I like to have a bigger viewing area. So I usually just have it long enough to get the gist of what the email might be about, and then I have a larger area for the preview of what the email is about. You can also change the size of the items that are on the right also. So you can see how it's changing to a 2 calendar view or a 2-month view. On the right hand side, it has the calendar that I referred to already, and you can actually tab through them very easily. The items that are dark are things that have been entered onto the calendar, and then it actually just pulls pieces out of your calendar of things that are coming up within the next couple of days within your own personal calendar. The items that are below, I've alluded to already, those refer to the things that you have created for action that you want to follow up with. So the next piece I wanted to show you is, you'll notice under my inbox I have several different types of folders. And I've done that because sometimes when I get emails, I just take care of them and delete them and they're finished, or I reply, etc. But some that you come across, you're going to want to keep for future reference. And so with those types of emails, I actually create folders for them. I place my email inside those folders, and then I can easily and quickly be able to find that content. So to create a folder, I just right click on it where it says inbox highlighted at the top. I go to new folder, and I'll just call this one sample for now, and then I go OK, and right here is the folder that I've created. So now with this particular activity or email that I have, if I wanted to file this into this particular folder, I just drag and drop it inside that sample folder, and then this folder or this email would go right inside there. So that's one way that you can organize your content. You do want to go through your folders periodically also and make sure you don't have any outdated junk inside there, so it is important to manage that also. But it does keep a really good way to be able to organize content that you can easily access rather than having to weed through mountains of emails from the past. You can actually archive your emails too and save them to your hard drive on your computer. But I honestly do not use that. I find that if I were to use that feature, I would just be accumulating and accumulating and I may not need. But depending on your role, some people do like to save their emails. I save mine for a certain period of time, including my sent items. And then I just get rid of them every so often. So and sent items have to be deleted just as your junk mail that needs to be deleted too. So the next feature I'm going to go over is the calendar. Okay, the calendar function I find to be the most efficient way of keeping myself organized as a professional. And they had this on the previous version too, but not everyone used it or knew about it. So I'm just going to show you how you use this calendar. And by having all of my appointments that have to do with work on this calendar, I can then have this synced to my smartphone or an iPad, iTouch, etc., or wherever I am and have internet access, and I can actually see all my appointments. So it's really important. It really keeps you organized. So to create a new appointment, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. You can click on the date in which you want to create an appointment, or you can go to new appointment at the top. In this case, I'm going to call it, how about language arts, and then you would give it a location. You would give a start and end time for the particular meeting. Really important that you choose the time parameter so you don't use the all-day event unless it's something that spans a few days like a retreat. And then, so for example, if I was going to do a retreat or something like that and I would have it span over a couple of days, then I would choose the all-day event because then it will actually show that way in my calendar. Otherwise, if it's just a meeting for a few hours, you would just do the hours. So then I go save and close. And then you will see here how this language arts meeting was added to this particular date. Now, if I want to add someone to that meeting, because it's not much fun to have a meeting by yourself, although I suppose you could do that, you go up to, you would click on it. So I double clicked on the meeting itself on my calendar, and then I get a different toolbar that appears. So this is called contextual toolbar. I would then go to where it says invitees. So I click on invitees, and in this case I'm going to invite myself, really exciting, but just so I'm not bringing up a bunch of other names. And here I would enter in the email addresses for all people that I would like to attend. If they are in your contacts, they can be accessed through this contacts section here. So these would show your different contacts. If they had to do with the global contacts, then this means that it's linked to anyone working for Chinook Edge School Division. You'd be able to easily find who you need. So, and also you can also do the Control K in our division. So you do the first initial of their name, the last initial of their name, Control K, and it will give you options of the person. So you never ever have to type out the whole address, which is nice. So in this case, I want to invite this person, and then I go send. And then what happens? And then what happens is an email will be sent to them, and I'll show you what that looks like in my own email inbox. And it will say, Carmen has invited you to a meeting. Would you like to attend? And so I can just see that my notification has just happened right now. So I'm going to my inbox. I click on the meeting that has been requested of me. And because I send it to myself, it's saying no response required. But if this was actually sent from a different person, there would be options up here. It would say accept, decline, or tentative. I would then choose which of those things that would make sense for myself. If I accept it, it would automatically go inside my calendar and I would not have to enter it. If I say decline, it will go in my calendar too, but it'll go back as a tentative to the meeting originator. And if I say declined, it does not go in my calendar, and the person who invited me to that meeting would get a message back in their email saying that I have declined the meeting. So really, really important for functionality and to be able to collaborate and get meetings in your calendars going. A lot of people don't use that calendar function. There's so many other things there too you can play around with. Contacts is another important area. And I'm not going to spend too much time there because I don't want to display my contacts to the world here. But contacts is where you would go to add people inside your area so that when you're creating an email or if it's linked to your phone, you can actually access all of your contacts. It all syncs together. So you're no longer having to create contacts in your phone and contacts in your email. The two are syncing together. So that is really handy. Under the tasks section, that's where you can create tasks also for yourself that appear on the right hand side. When you create a new task, you can actually say if you want it to appear 2 weeks from now, a month from now, a certain date, etc. So that's super handy also. Okay, and then the last item, which is where you're probably already used to, is just how to send a new email. So you would click on your new email. It automatically would bounce with your signature that you have set as your default. If you want to use a different signature, you would then go up here and choose the appropriate one in which you'd like to use. If the email is of high importance and you want to make sure that they really look at it, then you would click on this, and then the person receiving it would show a little exclamation mark in their inside their email, showing them that it's really important they look at it very quickly. If it's of low importance and you don't want them to feel like they have to get back to you right away, then that is a really good option to choose, because quite often we feel like we need to respond instantaneously, and it's nice when someone does that so that you know you have a bit of time if you have other things to do. If I wanted to attach a file, this is of course where I do this. So I can attach different files, and when you're in the body of your email, you have these different functionalities for bulleting, etc. that you had before. So that is, and then you just send your email, obviously. Other sections that are important here is this new items. This is just a quick way for you to be able to add a new appointment, add a meeting. So the difference between an appointment and a meeting: an appointment's for you yourself, a meeting is someone you would invite to your calendar and to your meeting. And if they accepted via the Outlook calendar, it would show up in theirs. This is another place that you can add contacts to so that you can keep it all together. Another place where you can add tasks. You can actually even do text messaging in here too. So just so you're familiar with that. So this should really give you a good feel for it, and there's lots of other functions in here, but really it's just a matter of playing and seeing what exists there. So thanks for viewing, and I hope that you feel comfortable.